All right, are we up? Are we live? I think we are. Let's double check ourselves here. Yep. Cool. All right. Well, let's see. What do we got going on today? I am going to do we're just going to do a random pour today. Yeah. So let's do we're going to do a Mako. This actually isn't a particular model that's been released yet, but it's one that I like. Now, one of the things I'm going to show you here is this particular model has a curve to it. And so one of the things we need to do is we need to straighten that out before we do the pour. And so I have these mold stands that I 3D print, and our mold goes in there, and let's see, right there. One of the great things about these mold stands is we can drop in a couple of sticks, a couple of our craft sticks, our mixing sticks, just like that. And that straightens out our mold. There we go. Hey, small creatures, how you doing? Yeah, appreciate the support. Seitzel, what are you watching? We are teaching people how to pour silicone. All right, so we got our mold set up. Let's get our silicone going here. Now, this is a Mako. Let me double check my weight on that. Let's see here. About 210. All right, so let's get our recipe together. Okay. So we're going to need about 90 grams of part B. Let's start there. What is the final material on those hands in mold sets? I'm not quite sure what you're asking, but what we're casting is going to be in silicone. What are we doing here? We're doing 88 grams. Do 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 do. There we go. 88 grams. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I will answer them as we go along. Now then, we've got our part B. We're going to add our hardener in here. We're going to need about 80 grams of this guy. This is really thick, so it's a little goopy. There we go. KH asking, is the same material used for the silicone mold? Yes. Basically, we use platinum cure silicone for everything from start to finish. The mold is platinum cure silicone, and the The silicone that we are casting is platinum pure silicone as well. All right, so we've got our part B and our hardener. I'll just start with part B just because it's a little bit, it's easier to reach, number one, but it's also a little bit thicker. And so that gives me a sense of the thickest that it's going to be. And so I know that if it's thick enough here, then I know that when I add my part A, it's going to be thick enough for the final product. If I need to thicken it up here, then I can add a thickener and make it even thicker. But since I start with B, this is the thickest it's going to be, the most viscous that it's going to be, I should say. All right. So we got our, by the way, the pigments that we're going to be using. Now, I know this looks like a really pastel-y pink, but this is going to change color once it gets into the silicone. And then we're going to be using this green. And this is really like an appley green, as opposed to, it's kind of weird in this container. And then we're going to be using this really, really bright white. So once we get the colors together in the silicone, you'll see what it looks like. All right. Now we're going to need another 88 grams, 89 grams of part A. All right, now we got our part A and part B in here, so our clock has started. Yeah, once part A and part B touch, that's when the clock starts on the curing time. We're gonna give it a real good mix. We're gonna make sure we scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, and make sure we got a real good mix there. Okay. Now what's our total weight here? Come on, tear out. Total weight is approximately 260 grams. Okay. Divide by 3, about 85 grams per color. Good. So I'm going to section off what I need for each color. There's the first one. And once I get these sectioned off, then we'll add our pigments to them. And we'll get those colors rolling. Now I'm trying to decide, actually what do I do? I think, what do I want? We're going to start off with this. Now the color deepens just slightly. It gets a little bit richer color. And while it still has that pink kind of undertone, it has like a reddish purple cast to it, which really comes out in the silicone. It's a really pretty red. Let's see that. Now, we've got tons and tons of bubbles in here, but that's okay. We'll take care of those here in a minute. Now then, this one, we're going to use white in this color. A little bit more. What are we making? We are making silicone sculptures. Luna, yeah, thank you. Mold I'm going to be using is called the Mako. It's actually an unreleased model that I have. Okay. I actually have 2 cameras going. I got TikTok over on this side where you guys are right now. And then over here, I've got YouTube going. So, yeah. By the way, there is a link in my bio for Linktree, which if you go to that, you can get to my YouTube and all the other things. Now that... Hey! The mold! All right, let's see. I'll scrape that down. Bevo search. Yeah, I'll show you one here in a minute once I've got this mixed up and we got this in the vacuum chamber. I got to get this mixed, get it in the vacuum chamber so we can get the vacuuming done. Once part A and part B touch, then we start a clock. And we got to get the clock, well, we got to get this done before the clock expires. Otherwise, our silicone will cure while we are pouring it. Now, this is the green. This is like a candy apple green. This is a gorgeous color. It's got like a little bit of a goldish undertone to it. So, yeah. All right, let's get this in here. Now then. All right, get these into the vacuum chamber. Hey, Tiffany asking, what does this process do? What we're actually doing at this point is pulling all of the air out of the silicone. As we're mixing it, it's kind of, the silicone is really thick and viscous, and so it entraps air in the silicone. So by doing it this way, we're able to pull all of that air out of the silicone. If we didn't do this, what we'd end up with is almost like a sponge. And each one of those bubbles in the sponge would be a place where, you know, the wee beasties could grow, you know, mold, mildew, bacteria, yeast, all the things that you don't want growing on silicone. This would be a place, those bubbles would be a place for that to grow. So by vacuuming it, we remove all of that air and we create a solid mass so that we don't have a place for the silicone to, or for the mold and things like that to grow. Yeah, Bevo, I'll show you an example here in just a minute. Now, as you can see, we've almost got all those bubbles out. You can still see a few bubbles kind of popping up. How do I know when it's complete? I know it's complete when we stop seeing bubbles, basically. You can see the purple, the pinkish purple over here is almost completely done. The white is almost completely done. The green is the only one that's still got a little bit of a fair amount of bubbles coming up out of it. So we'll let that roll for just a little bit longer. And Bevo was asking for an example. This is actually the Mako right here. Can you see that? Yep. So this is the Mako right here. This is an A10, I think. So, you know, still fairly firm, but let me turn off the vacuum pump. There we go. But still, this one's got some ridges right here along the shaft. And I don't know if you can tell, but the shaft is actually not round. And yeah, interesting coloring pattern on this one. Yeah. All right, so let's get this one poured. WWNY asking, how long do we leave it in there? It varies depending on the amount of silicone, the shape of the cup, all that kind of stuff. It could be anywhere from 3 minutes to 10 minutes, depending. It just kind of depends on the shape and size and the volume of silicone that we're working with. Oops. All right. So let's get this rolling here. We're going to do this here. Now we got, oops, let me bring my YouTube back over. I almost forgot about y'all. Who is that over on YouTube? Selena, how you doing? All right. So we're going to start with our green on the bottom here, and then we're going to add our pinky purple right on top of that. I'm curious how this is going to come out. Because having a pink and a green right next to each other could get kind of ugly. Kind of depends on how much they want to combine. But if we can keep them from mixing, then we'll be okay. And then we're going to rotate this around, and then we're going to add this one on this side. All right. There we go. Now then, I'll bring you guys in so you can kind of see that. That's how we are in the cup. Bebo, do I make money doing this? Yeah, actually I do. So, all right, here's our mold. And I gotta remember to bring my YouTube over so you guys can see it as well. There we go. Now then, this is what's going to make this one a little bit interesting. Is I'm going to do like a 45-degree rotational pour on this one. So let's go. There's a question, do I ever vacuum the resin before pouring? By the way, this is not resin, this is silicone. And I have to vacuum the silicone before I pour. But if you came in late, I understand. You may not have caught that this is silicone. Boo-boo-boo-boo. Now then. Let's see. 725 Jano, latex free. Yes, silicone is 100% latex free. These are all platinum pure silicones, so there is no latex allergies to be worried about. What are we making? We are making silicone sculptures. What is the retail for the one you showed us? That one will run you about $65 or so. Whoops. Now since we've got the pour done, we can take our props out, and we can let our curve reestablish itself. That way, once it's cured, it will actually cure with the curve in it as it's supposed to be. Now then, I've got a little extra here, so I'm going to do some squishy. Let's do some spaceships. Go, come on, get in there. Get in there. Silicone's thickening up on me here. There we go. All right. Luna. Yeah, thank you. Somebody wanted to see the mold again. There we go. All right, let's see. Let's get. We had a couple of questions on YouTube. How do I know how much silicone to prepare? I have all of my models weighed out beforehand, so I know what the final weight is. So I always know exactly what the final weight is, and then I add about 40 to 50 grams, depending on size. But I'll add about 40, 50 grams, so that I have some extras to make squishies and things like that. And is there a way to measure it based on the mold? In theory, you could, but here's the deal: is that the first couple of pours you're going to do in a mold, I would just sneak up on it. Is that kind of guess, and you should be able. Your first couple of pours, I mean, you're going to guess at it anyway. Pour some in there, and if it's not right, if it's not enough, then mix up some more and pour it back in there. Pour it in there, and just keep going until you fill it up. I mean, that's the way I would do it if you really didn't want to worry about, wasting any or having too much. In theory, you could fill it up with water and then pour that water into a cup and measure that. But I don't like measuring by volume. I always measure by weight. So yeah, I would just mix up silicone, small batches, and just keep adding it in until it fills it up. And then if you have any extra on that last fill, throw it into a squishy mold, and then you're done. And then when you have that first one done, weigh it out, and now you know exactly what it is. And so, yeah, you're done. Beto asking, how do I get into this business? I've been working with silicone in various ways for probably 20 years. My first original work with silicone was in the jewelry industry, where we were doing casting. I'm not going to go into it, but basically I was in the jewelry industry. We did wax mold, or we did wax masters. We did silicone molds of those, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, about 10 years ago, I came back into working with silicone again, and I was always kind of wondering what else could I do with it. And about 5 years ago, I was kind of thinking, well, I got to find something else to do with this silicone. And then I realized I could make this kind of stuff with it. And so I started doing that. And then it turned it into a business. Tiffany asking, how long does it take to cure? This particular one will take about 4 hours to cure. Normally, this particular silicone is a 0020, and it takes about 2 hours to cure. But I used a hardener on it, and that hardener is going to take it up to an A10. And by adding the hardener, it actually increases the cure time to about 4 hours. So this particular one is going to take about 4 hours to cure. Brew. I can't tell what that says. Is that Brew Skill? Bruce? Well, we'll just say Brew. Do you make wearables? I think you're asking about sheath, and not yet. It's on my list of things to do. Everything that I do make is harness compatible, though. So if you look at the bases of everything that I make, I'll show you a couple here. You look at the bases. Let me get my cameras back in the right place. If you look at my bases, they're all flared, which makes them harness compatible. So they can be worn in a harness if you like. even the Parabolica has a flared base. So all of them have flared bases, which makes them harness compatible. All right, what other questions have you got for me? Should we do one more? Maybe we can do one more. Let's do a gibless here. Yeah, we can do that. This is the gibless. This is a really highly textured toy. But one of the things about it is that because of that extra texture, we have to be worried a little bit. We have to pay attention to that extra texture and whether or not it's going to trap air. And that's one of the things about this is whether or not we're going to be trapping air in the mold as we pour our silicone. So when I was designing this one, I was very careful about how big the texture was and how big each one of these half moon shapes is, so that I didn't have to worry about it trapping air into the mold. All right, let's grab a couple of cups here. We'll get some silicone going. I just want to make sure that my cups are clean real quick. And then we'll get it going. Looks like a time to be demold. It's actually not too bad. It's kind of strange actually. Or funny, I should say. The extra texture actually breaks the vacuum that could be created. Geez, how do I explain this without getting really technical? Basically, when you have two surfaces that are very close to each other and have a lot of surface contact, you can create a vacuum behind them as you're trying to pull them apart. And because we have so much texture, it breaks them apart enough to where we don't have to worry about a vacuum getting created behind them. And so it actually makes it a lot easier to pull out than some of the others. All right, there's that one. And Harold asking, where did the molds come from? I make them. I make everything. I do my own 3D modeling. I do my own molds. I do my own pours. I do everything from scratch, start to finish. No, I reuse all of my cups. I'll show you here in a second here. That's actually why I'm cleaning them, is I reuse all my cups and I want to make sure that there is nothing left in them. So like here, yeah, so I get this out. So we can peel out all of this silicone. It just peels out. And once it peels out, then we just wipe it down. We can wash it, clean it all out. And then once it's cleaned, I always wash everything with, or spray it out with isopropyl alcohol. And that way, I know that there are no issues. Boop, 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 boop. Anyway, we'll throw that back over here. I try to minimize as much waste as I can, but what I actually do with the excess is I've got a bunch of it down here, but like these bits here, I actually give these to my artist friends and they use them in their art installations. So everything gets reused or recycled in some way. Very little of it actually just goes into the trash. Okay, so let's do this. This is a Gibelus A10. Gibelus is 205. Okay, we'll do the same thing. We need about 89 grams. So be thinking of a couple of colors. Pick some colors for me. Because I need some ideas. There we go. Let's see. Oh boy. So many colors. Purple, red, black, green, yellow, pink and brown. Light to dark blue gradient. Actually, I want to try something here. I know what we're going to do. I've been wanting to try this. And it's one that I have not tried yet. We're going to try I don't know. This is going to be a weird one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a blue and white, but I'm going to vacuum it after I mix the two colors together. I'm really curious. I've been wanting to try this. I've been wanting to try a vacuum after the mix, or after putting the colors together in the cup. You'll see what I'm saying. We're going to go blue and white. We're going to go blue and white. All right. Now then, here's the thing. When we do a two-color pour, we don't actually do even amounts of two colors. When we do a two-color pour, we do 1/3, 2/3. And the reason is that the base of the sculpture is always bigger than the rest of it. And so it has more volume. And because it has more volume, then it is going to move the transition point. And so what that means is that if we did an even amount and the volume of the base is bigger, then the transition point is not going to be in the middle. It's actually going to be closer to the base. So if we want the transition point in the middle, then we need to do 1/3, 2/3, and that'll get us a transition point somewhere closer to the middle. Okay. So we're going to do about 90 grams here. There we go. Now then, this is a silicone-based pigment. Oh, I can do this. There we go. I'll show you that a little bit closer. This is a silicone-based pigment, really thick, viscous pigment, very highly pigmented. You can see that. There's our blue. All right. And now then, our white. I think I want just a little bit more there. Okay. Now I'm going to scrape our sides, scrape the bottom, make sure we've got it all mixed. So what are we making? We are making a silicone sculpture. I'm teaching folks how to make and use silicone. We've got our part A and our part B here in the cup. We've added our pigment, and we're getting ready to vacuum it out. Now I'm also going to do a little experiment here of one that I've never tried before. And I'm just going to add this right on top. And I'm kind of putting this right in the middle because I don't want, I'm really kind of curious. I just want to see what happens. I got a little messy there, but I'll let you see here. I'm basically kind of just trying to create a bullseye, and then we're going to take that into the vacuum chamber and vacuum that out. Hey, Hex, how you doing? Bevo asking, what is my handle on YouTube? I'm a VD, AMAVIDI, just same as everything else. Hey, Walter Silicone, how you doing? Slug, thanks for the suggestions. Hey, Hicks. Yeah, it's going to sit in the vacuum chamber for just a couple of minutes. Once the bubbles quit coming up, then we can move on. I'm really curious how this is going to come out. I've never actually done it this way before, so we'll see. Body Art Crafty asking, how much pressure? We are going to minus 29.96. We are going for vacuum, not pressure. By the way, if there's anybody out there that would like to learn how to do this, I have a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel, we do. I have my 101 video series, and it shows you how we do a pour, how we make our molds, how we use additives, how we do all the different things. So definitely check that out. Also, I have a Twitter, which I share all kinds of stuff. There's a Patreon as well. And on the Patreon, we actually are offering folks a chance to get access to my course. So I'm working on a course right now, and it's not complete, but my Academy patrons have access to the course now while I'm working on it. At this point, we've got about 40 videos up on the course. So it's there's a lot up there already. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, there's going to be a lot there. But if you're curious about how we do this and want to learn, then you're more than welcome to check out the YouTube, the Twitter, and the Patreon. All right, we're almost done with the vacuuming. Yeah, Jennifer, we're almost done there. Just a couple of more bubbles. Vivo, giving away your secrets. You could say that. I don't really consider them secrets because, you know, it's science. I don't know. I teach people. This is what I do. I teach people how to do stuff. Just Fab Toys. What are we pouring now? We are pouring a Gibbolus in A10. And this is actually an experiment. I'm actually mixing the different colors of silicone before I vacuum. So yeah, I think we're about ready. Now then, boop, boop, boop. Here's our silicone. Here's our mold. We got our camera in the right place. You guys can see that, right? Everybody see everything? There we go. All right, let's see how this goes. I'm really curious. I have never tried this before, so we'll see what it does. kind of did what I was afraid it was going to do. I think we're going to end up with basically a lighter version of the blue. Basically our white and our blue combined. And our white just desaturated our blue. I think that's what happened. But I think there's something there. I think if the blue were off center, we might be able to get to like an ombre. But I think well, no. I'm gonna just get this squishy done real quick. I think to do an ombre would require a lower viscosity. So we'd have to add some thinner to this. But we really won't know until we get it out of the mold, which will be probably tomorrow. I'm not going to hang out to demold it this afternoon. All right, we've got poops. Bevo asking, what are squishies? Squishies are basically, they are excess silicone that are squishy. They might be spaceships, they might be poops. Like, here's a golden poop. Luna asking, is this an 18 plus live? Yes, it is. Yeah, it's like a tension reliever. Yep. Stress ball, that kind of stuff. Yep. Dawn, Shadow, you want the squishy? You can get the squishy. Whenever anybody orders a custom, I always do a live stream so they can watch their order being made. So if you do that, number one, you get to watch your order being made. But number two, if there is any extra silicone left over, I always include a squishy with the order. So you can get squishy that way. Or you can just order squishies. There are squishies available on my website. All right, let's see. How long does it take for the silicone to harden? The silicone cures, that's from Mystic. Silicone cures this will cure in about 4 hours. This one's about 4 hours. Where's the store? Link in the bio. Link in bio. amavd.com or amavd.etsy.com. Yes, look, I've been wanting to try this as well. I think it ended up kind of as I expected it to, which is that the white just kind of desaturated the blue. And I think we kind of just, I think that's where we ended up. But, you know, it is what it is. Until you try it, you won't really know. I think also, if instead of dropping it in the middle, if I had dropped it off to one side and then done the vacuum and then poured, I don't know if I'd pour across or over. I have to think about that. I poured across. Yeah, I'd probably pour across it. I'd pour across it. So if I had my cup and I put the blue over here, vacuumed it, then I would pour this direction across it. And then I think we could get an interesting fade that way. I don't know that it's going to do a whole lot more than if we had just combined them after vacuuming, but we'll see. We could see that. We could try it. What is the website? amavidi.com, amavidi.com. Can I get a squishy for free, please? No. Sorry. I'm good, Amy. How are you doing? Yeah, do give it a shot, Slug. Let me know how it goes for you. Slug. Are you Toybot? What other questions you got for me? Here are our pours from today. Mystic, is there a faster way to cure it? Yes, there are two ways. Number one, we could add an accelerator. Today was kind of a weird day for me. I was experimenting, so I didn't add an accelerator, but there is, it's called Part X from Polytech. Over here, I'll show you guys. 1% added to it cuts your cure time in half. It also cuts your pot life in half. So what that means is that, like I said, today I was experimenting, and so I was kind of on the edge of not really knowing exactly what I was doing, so I didn't want to push things, and so I didn't use an accelerator. But we could use an accelerator to do that. Also, temperature. You can put these into like a hot box or something like that. As the temperature increases, your cure time goes down. So, yeah. All right, Slug. Yeah, let me know how it goes in the Discord. On the yeah. Send me a message or add something in the chat. Let me know how your test goes, and we'll talk later. All right. Anybody else? But yeah, those are two ways to cure it faster: use an accelerator or use temperature, heat. About 85 degrees, you cut your cure time in half. So it doesn't take much to cure it that much faster. I'm really curious how this one's going to come out. I'm really curious. This one, I kind of know what it's going to look like, but this one I'm curious. All right, everybody. With that, I am out. Bye. All right, button. Who's got the button? All right, YouTube. Anything else for me? Questions, comments, feedback? I thought I had my water in here. I did. Hydrate. All right, well, with that, I am done. Okay, everybody. Bye. How many E's are in there? Bye.